Hey YouTube, so it has been more than a week since I posted last time, and yes, I'm in my car again because this is one of the few quiet places that I can find when the kids are home and it's summer and we are done with our school year, and so they're home and it's noisy. So we just got back from town. I have sent everyone inside with a few little groceries that we picked up, and I figured that I would quickly shoot a video or two like I promised and start getting these out again more regularly. So last time we talked, I was getting ready to go to West Virginia for my grandfather's service. He had passed away, and it was a beautiful service. It was just family. He grew up out of state, and all of his family has already passed. He was 93 and got to see his last birthday just a few days before he passed. And although it was hard, we all shared our thoughts and memories of him and spent a lot of time together just remembering him and encouraging each other, and it was good. However, when I got back, hold on, apparently I'm not even safe out here. Here comes the little. Someone left a toy in here. I took the two youngest with me and gave them each $1 and told them if they were very, very good, that we could stop at the Dollar Tree and they could pick something out, and they left the toy in here. So anyway, when I got back from my grandfather's service, it has been basically pouring ever since. It is normally hot and humid down here during the spring and not during the summer, but I'll tell you what, I know it's just now officially summer, but it has been pouring. It's like the wettest year I've seen since we've moved down to South Carolina, and we've been here for like 12, 14 years, something like that. And it messes with my fibromyalgia, y'all. I have been stuck in bed in pain for several days, or at least most of several days. I'll have good spurts where I can go get some laundry done, cook dinner, whatever, and then I just get stiff and sore. And so I have not been able to get my weekly video out. So I plan on filling you in on everything that's been going on with this Budget Life family while we've been missing and out of action, but I wanted to start with this really cool story because I promised it to you and I promised to keep it short. My mom and dad have been married for, let's see, I am 30 something, and they've been married, they're going on, let's put it this way, they're going on 40 years of marriage. And they have never gone anywhere internationally for a visit, vacation, or anything other than Canada, which doesn't really count. Sorry, Canadians. I mean, I just think of y'all as, you know, our northern cousins, you know. So anyway, they decided that after my dad had a heart attack 2 years ago, that they wanted to make sure they got some things knocked off their bucket list. So they went to plan a trip to England, Scotland, and Ireland for a week. And since they had never gone out of the country, my mom had to get a passport for the first time in her life, and she is 56, 57, and never had to get a passport before. Takes her birth certificate in to get it, and they told her, ma'am, your birth certificate is not the kind that we can use. It's more of what they give you at the hospital, that you need to contact the health department in the county where you were born and get a legal birth certificate so that we can, you know, create your passport for you. Now, my mom was shocked because she has been using this birth certificate since she was, you know, 16, had to get her first driver's license, all of this, all of the legal things that you need to do in a lifetime, she has used this birth certificate for. She's like, well, everyone else is always taking it for everything. They're like, well, we can't take it for a passport. Well, my mom's mom passed away when I was 2, and they have been caring for my grandfather, who has had severe dementia for the last 5 years. And he doesn't know, he can't remember anything. He didn't know who anybody was at the end. Didn't remember even my mom at the end, or myself. And I was the oldest grandchild, and we were really close. But so she had to try to figure out where these details were. So her and my dad actually had to start calling around. They knew the county, but there's several hospitals in the county. My grandparents were Catholic, so they started with the Catholic hospital. Well, that was fun. So they started with the Catholic hospitals, and they found the hospital that she was born at, and it was a hospital that actually had a special wing in it set aside a special maternity wing for unwed mothers, because back in the day when women got pregnant out of wedlock, they were not deemed worthy to birth babies or be cared for in the same room as the married ladies. Now, I'm not for having children out of wedlock. I don't believe in that, but I don't think that they should have been separated, but that's how they did things back then. And this is the hospital that my mother was born at. So when they found that out, my dad said, I think you need to be prepared that you might find something out. And she was like, well, the worst she could imagine is that, you know, that her mom maybe and her dad weren't married when she was born, but she found that hard to believe because they had been married, like what they had told her is they had been married for like 9 years before she was born and been trying to have children for a very long time. Well, a few weeks after after they called the hospital and said, yeah, this is my name, I need the birth certificate, they said, yes, we've got your information. They called my parents' house and talked to my dad, because my mom was not home at the time. She was shopping at Walmart. And my dad gets the information from the hospital, and he calls my mother and tells her some life-changing news. Not over coffee, while she's shopping at Walmart. If James ever did that to me, I would kill him. It's like, of all the places, right? So my mom freaks out and calls me. I just have left the orthopedist with Reese, where he was diagnosed with flat feet, and we had to get him some special inserts for his shoes. So we're at the shoe place getting these inserts. And Mom calls me and starts telling me this story, and I'm like, well, that'd be so weird if grandfather and Nana, like, if Mom was born out of wedlock. That's not the news they called with. The news they called with is that my mom was adopted. Adopted at 56. She finds out she's adopted. I know that decades ago they handled things differently and didn't, family secrets, family diseases, all that stuff was like really hush hush, and they didn't necessarily tell people. You know, crazy relatives were sent away. But to find out that you're adopted at 56, I mean, it was shocking, absolutely shocking. And so my mom is flipping out, I'm flipping out. You know, she gets home eventually, tries talking to her dad. He doesn't remember anything, can't give her any details. To this day, this is back in Christmas, we have no idea why they never told her. They didn't tell her when my Nana was sick and they knew she was going to pass away. They didn't tell her when she got married and was securely with a family of her own. They didn't ease her into it. I mean, my mom really struggled with a lot of feelings of anger, and if any of you guys are adopted out there, you know, there's a lot of questions that come with it, like, you know, why was I given up and all that rest of it. But most people get to deal with those things when they're younger and when they have family members to talk to about it. And my mom doesn't have any of that. She was an only child. They never adopted anyone in. They never told her. The closest they got to telling her is one time my Nana told Mom that they had been waiting for a baby for a long time and they were considering adoption when she came along. And that's the closest she ever got to telling her. And it might have been because it didn't matter to them. Whether she was adopted or not, that she was their daughter, and it wasn't an important detail, and maybe they were trying to spare her the stress of wondering, you know, what happened to her bio family. I don't know. So we just were all reeling in shock. This is like 2 weeks before Christmas. 2 weeks before Christmas. My mom said it was like a weird Hallmark movie. Adopted for Christmas. Yeah, not so much. They had to submit a ton of paperwork to try to find her bio family because the adoptions at this particular hospital were not handled properly, and so a lot of the birth moms were told that their names would be on the birth certificate so their kids could find them once they were of age, and they weren't put on there. They were closed adoptions, and New York is a stickler about opening up sealed adoption records. And now my mom probably would have had a great medical case because we have some neurological issues in my family. As you guys know if you've watched any of my other videos, I have epilepsy. I have a brother that developed epilepsy, oh my goodness, years after I started. For a long time I was the only one. And then I have another brother that had hydrocephalus as an infant and had to have shunts put in when he was just a couple months old. Like, he's lived a totally normal life. I mean, no side effects, you'd never know. But he had to have that done. So we had some neurological medical things that in the family that had no family history. They just showed up in our family and we didn't know why. We did our research. It just seemed like our family just started it. So they figured they would have a medical case to get the records opened. Well, after several weeks after sending the paperwork in late January, my dad called me because my mom was too emotional and said that that her mom and one of her sisters was actually looking for her and had been looking for her for like over 20 years. I can't even imagine. So since the birth family was looking and then mom was looking, they went ahead and were able to get the information, and my mom found out that even though she thought she was a only child, she actually has 12 half-siblings. 6 half-siblings from her birth mom over the years, and 5, well, it might not be 12, it might be 11. And 5 or 6 from her birth dad. Now her birth dad and birth mom did not get married. My birth grandfather was emigrated from England and became a citizen of the United States and was fighting in leaving to fight in World War II when they found out that my birth grandmother was expecting, and she was only 16. And he offered to marry her, and she was like, no, she didn't feel like that they needed to do that. And so when he came back, he looked up again and it just didn't really go anywhere, so he had started his own family later on. So she's got siblings on both sides. Now, her birth dad has since passed away and she hasn't contacted that side of the family yet, but she has had some phone calls with her birth mom. I have not spoken with her yet, and I have actually found some of my new aunts and uncles on Facebook, had phone calls and chats with them. So it has been a wild ride, y'all. It has been a crazy wild ride. And mom has wanted to go out and meet her family, but with my grandfather being in such extremely poor health and needing specialized care, they couldn't. So now that he is passed away and at rest and all of that, they can do a little bit more traveling than they have been. They hadn't been able to otherwise. It always had to put them in specialized care while they were gone, which is really, really expensive, and VA benefits don't cover almost anything. So anyway, so this summer they are planning to go to New York and visit my mom's birth family. I don't know if any of us will go. I kind of think that this first time around it might be a little bit overwhelming. So I think that we'll probably just have mom and dad go this summer, but I do know that the family wants to meet us because they went from, you know, just having one sibling that sorry, phone call. Anyway, so they're going to go out and visit, and hopefully, you know, we will go and see them because they all of a sudden went from having one missing sibling to finding her and finding out that she had 11 children. And she has 6 grandchildren and 1 on the way. My sister Emily is expecting a new little squish around Christmas, so that's all very exciting. And so that is our shocking family development. Not so much for me. I think it's really cool. We actually found out that the neurological things that, just like I said earlier, had sprung up with our family actually come from my birth grandmother's side. I have an uncle with epilepsy, so that explains a lot. So it's interesting to just have this new history and new family members to meet, new things to explore. I'd love to do the Ancestry DNA thing and find out where all we're from. I did find out that besides being British and having the epilepsy and everything, we're also part Jewish, which is really cool. And I don't know, it's just been kind of a weird adventure that we haven't really had a chance to explore because of it being mixed up with my grandfather being ill and all of that. So that is my adoption video. That is my shocking news for you guys, and I hope you enjoy it. I would love to hear if you are adopted or if you've adopted a child. Put your comments below. I'd love to hear your stories. I think it would be encouraging and interesting for everybody else. And I will be getting some more videos up here shortly about what else has been going on while we've been missing in action. Like and subscribe and click the little bell if you want to get notifications about all the videos when they show up, because YouTube has changed their logarithms now, and you can or however you pronounce that, you can subscribe and still not get notified when a new video is up unless you check it. So like, subscribe, and hit the little bell, and you'll find out when the next one comes along. So thank you for stopping by, and we will talk to you later.